Okay, adventurers, as you can see, we're at one of the local car washes near my house, and I just wanted to do a quick video on the car because I'm getting it ready to sell, and I thought, why not let some other people know some of the top problems that I've found while I've owned this vehicle, because I've actually owned two of these. I owned a 2010, which was an ex-police vehicle, and I own this 2008, which literally the only difference between this one and the police model was a metal center console, which is kind of cool. So, top 5 common problems. And the first one I'm going to start with, it's just kind of a nitpicky deal. I don't like the independent rear axle on the back. I like a solid axle, and that's just a personal preference. It's just a lot more moving parts that I really don't like to move around, and I think it's just, I like solid axles a lot better, but that's just my personal nitpick with this car. Now we're going to start on the real things. As you can see, there should be chrome on that bumper, but there is not. So if you look, the chrome likes to peel off on these cars, and I'll show you the interior in a minute. So I actually just took the pressure washer and pressure washed off the last few pieces of chrome that were left on there, because every time I go to the car wash I just kind of lift off a little more chrome. So now at least it's not quite so tacky looking. And then we can come to the interior, and you can see on this top piece here, that chrome is gone. This chrome is starting to go. That chrome is gone. And you can see on here, that chrome is starting to lift as well. So the chrome plating on these Explorers is not very good, but there's not really much you can do about it aside from possibly repainting the surfaces or getting new pieces. The next thing that I'm going to go into on this is the thermostat. You will need to replace that thermostat at some point, and they are, as you can see, a big plastic housing that generally you have to just replace the whole housing, and it will fail on you at some point in time. And what fails is there's a little O-ring gasket down in there that's just not very good, and the O-ring on the temp sensor tends to fail too. I'm not a big fan of those. Okay, so that's 2. And the next thing, the bearings on these cars. I like the bearings because they're a sealed unit construction, and you can just undo like 3 bolts and the whole bearing pops off, and you pop your new bearing in, you're good to go. Unfortunately, these things go through front driver's side bearings like it ain't nobody's business. I've done 3 driver's side bearings between the 2 of these Explorers that I've owned. So watch out for that driver's side front bearing. I think I even have a video posted of it. And then the next thing that's going to go out on you will come, and you can't see it, but it's underneath, is your fuel pump in the gas tank. That is definitely going to go out on you at some point in this vehicle's life. It'll probably start with the sending unit going bad, and if you're going to replace the sending unit, you better just replace the whole pump while you're there, because you're going to eventually end up going back in for that pump and just replacing the whole unit. So there's the fuel pump. That's one issue. Ooh, I might have 6 issues. I forgot about that fuel pump. So the next issue is the transmission in these things. And if you look, there's the oil dipstick, but keep a looking around and you don't see a transmission dipstick, which I hate. You can't check the fluid. Now, it's got a really smooth shifting, long-lasting transmission, but unless you're a pretty decent mechanic, you're going to want to take this in to get your transmission serviced. Just trust me, it's a lot easier. Just pay the money, get the transmission serviced, because you got to go in underneath from the pan, and there's some special plugs you got to take out, and then you got to fill the fluid with a fluid pump, and it's just a whole pain in the neck. So that's my number 2 peeve with this car. My number 1 peeve with this generation of Explorers is the timing in there. And what a lot of people don't know is it's not just a normal timing arrangement on the front. It's not even one of those super long V8 timing chains like I wish it was. No. You have your timing set up here, and then it goes to the driver's side head. And then on this side, you have a jack shaft that runs all the way back, and your gear and timing set is on the rear of the passenger side head. So to retime this vehicle, instead of the normal nightmare of just pulling everything off the front and retiming it, you've got to not only do that, but you've got to also take off the valve cover and somehow get back there, if not just pull the whole engine to retime it. So that is something that I never want to do ever on these vehicles, and that's why I'm selling this thing. So common problems for this generation of Explorer. I hope somebody found this useful.